was walking home alone from an errand to the drugstore at night. They started to tease me and I didn't ignore it. I tried to hold my own against their aggression, but it was hopeless. When I got home, my face was badly marked up. My parents wouldn't believe that I didn't provoke the attack. They thought I'd asked for it. My mother called the local police station and a policeman came to our house. After I described what the boys looked like, two of them were familiar with the police. One had been taken in twice for fighting and another time for threatening someone with a knife. The other boy was a shoplifter. Another conviction for the first boy would result in his placement in a correctional center. About 3 weeks later, there was a second assault. I lived in a small town and word had traveled fast that I was an easy fight. I had an older brother to pick up for me. I was stopped by a group of 7 boys who were about 11 to 14 years old, and I was provoked by the group's leader to fight him. I refused and he took a swipe at me. Fearing another beating, I fought back with all the strength my adrenaline would give me. I began to beat on the group leader and his friends pulled me away as 2 or 3 others held me and the group leader punched and kicked me. It was a sunny afternoon, so neighborhood parents were standing around the action in a circle, as well as 2 policemen parked nearby in a patrol car, boys settling things between themselves. After everyone had turned at me, the gang lost the urge for attack and they left. Neighborhood parents left, the patrol car left. I went home, thought things over. It all came to a point. I didn't care anymore. I sat in my room with the door closed all day. I didn't care about school or anything. There was a purpose to it. I stayed indoors for a month. The second beating had brought me close to being hospitalized. As far as I would go was to my junior high school. I wouldn't go out at night. My spare time I spent at home trying to excuse my weakness. I amused myself by imagining situations of revenge, confronting a group of boys and them not succeeding in beating me. I would win with a sharp knife I hid in my coat sleeve or a pistol in my jacket pocket. I would win, they would bleed and run. I would devise my attack so they couldn't recognize me and report me to the police. I enjoyed the imagery of dishing out their pain. I would lie in bed and fantasize the possible ways I could fight the people who wanted to hurt me. Somehow my solitude helped me to overcome the embarrassment of being beaten. It gave me time to cool off from the memories of the street gang's complacency at my defeat. I could have worked out and built up my strength, or practiced with a knife. I had the drive and desire to do it. I had friends that were doing it. But I didn't need those thoughts. I didn't need that life. The abuse I received told me that there were more fulfilling things to do than getting together with friends to beat up someone. can remember a policeman bringing one street kid to our house for me to identify. The boy's father was with him, and after he explained his son's criminal history, my parents decided not to lay assault charges. The boy's father made him apologize to me, and he hated to do it. I remember the look on his face, trapped and uncomfortable. I would have hated being made to apologize to someone I didn't like. In the moments of his apology, I identified with his predicament, being brought to someone else's house and forced to submit to their wishes. This made me realize later that we both prided ourselves in our own respective levels of conviction. Our differences were mostly in our lifestyles. At least we believed in what we were doing. It's also interesting to wonder if he ever came as close to leaving aside his reputation as a fighter as I came to preparing myself to fight against him. Whatever. We both lived in extremely opposite points of view, but received satisfaction from it. Otherwise, we would have tried harder to change. I spent most of my time drawing pictures, building model kits, the quiet life. But I was a weakling and a bully on the street knew it. They had me figured out with one look. Fighting kids were more self-assured than I was. They spent their time proving they could take it. I spent my time trying to convince myself I could take it. It took a really long time for me to realize my own strengths and suppress my desire for revenge. Perhaps I just envied the other kids' sense of self-confidence. They dished back out whatever they got. But then it's easy for a kid to mistake aggression for self-confidence, especially when he's had his confidence beaten from him. I hope you don't think the feeling of needing to hurt other people occurs because of a lack of money. Money can only raise the stakes of violence.
The closer you put the lighter. Mom finally put up enough fuss and he cut it out.